check irrigation is a form of surface irrigation that's very popular in northern Victoria for some good reasons. The whole system is gravity driven, so there's no energy costs in providing it. The water is distributed onto open fields in a very controlled manner. With the advent of modernised supply systems, we deliver a known flow rate to an irrigation bay, and there's a potential to be able to precisely irrigate large areas of land very cheaply. The issue we have in northern Victoria though is that our soils have very low infiltration rates, so the excess water left on the surface of an irrigation bay will drain very slowly to the base of the bay, and it means that water stands at the bottom end of irrigation bays for far longer than it does at the top. So we don't have a uniform irrigation throughout the bay. We needed a way to answer the question, is there a better irrigation bay than the conventional one that's currently in use? And to do that, we needed an irrigation computer model that would allow us to put water across a non-uniform surface. So this is a simulation of an irrigation on a bay with surface drains in it, and as you can see, the advance proceeds down the bay as it would in a conventional irrigation bay, but we've got water running ahead in these little drains and spreading out from the drains and wetting up the hollows and the depressions ahead of that advance. The water's now been cut off and the top of the bay is now starting to drain, and what you'll see happen is that this whole bay is draining very rapidly. Water's effectively leaving the bay almost at the rate at which it came on, and it means that opportunity time, the time that there is ponded water on the bay, is pretty uniform across the whole surface.
We milk 300 cows, which is about 4.5 cows a hectare, pushing the boundaries a bit. So our main focus is grass-based and as much feed as we can grow. It's just taking too long to water bays and water grass, and ryegrass doesn't like to be flooded or too wet, so water on, water off was our efficiency to try and change that.
So having looked at a wide range of potential irrigation bay surfaces, we've ended up with a very simple modification to existing irrigation bays that requires no additional landforming other than the incision of shallow surface drains down the length of each bay.
Here we do spinner cuts, so little drains every 12 to 14 metres, so that when the water stops at the bay outlet, they take the rest of the water off, which dries your paddock out. We can get back on our paddocks within 48 hours of irrigation, which is quite amazing considering you're putting over 2 to 3 inches of water across the whole paddock. So spinner cuts are a fantastic way to help the drainage.
After we make these modifications, it's at less than 5 hours for the whole bay. And essentially, the plants here are getting the same irrigation as the plants here.
The system's worked well because we've grown more and more each year, so we're very happy with that.
Authorised by Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.